It is baking soda. So from this experiment, we can deduce that baking powder reacts as soon as it comes into contact with water, and baking soda does not react when it comes into contact with.
Hello wonderful people, welcome to Chef Garvey GA channel. Today we are going to learn the difference between baking soda and baking powder, and I'm going to try my best to answer all the most asked questions about baking soda and baking powder. People normally ask, are they the same ingredients? Can you substitute it? And even how it is manufactured, how it is mined. A little history about it, and why do we even add it in our baking products? And a lot more questions that I will answer it today. And I will try my best to make it as simple as possible. I'm going to use my case old whiteboard to assist in teaching of this technique or information about baking soda and baking powder. I hope you are going to enjoy this video. Come, let's do together. Yalla! Dear friend, welcome to Chef Garvey classroom. Once you see the cane here, then you can see we are in a real classroom. Okay, baking soda and baking powder are common and cheap ingredients. We all know about them. But trust me, we cannot bake quality bread, cake, biscuits, scones without adding these common ingredients in our baking products. So these are some, not all of them. So as we're going on, I will add more questions, or what I'm going to explain will answer most of your questions. But these are the 4 common questions people ask about baking powder and baking soda. 1, are baking soda and baking powder the same? Can one replace baking soda with baking powder? I'm going to answer that. How to test for whether an unlabeled container is baking soda or powder. So we are also going to show you how you can test for any powder that looks like baking powder and baking soda. Dear friend, now I want us to concentrate on baking soda. So first of all, baking soda can be called sodium bicarbonate or bicarbonate of soda. These two are another names of baking soda. So several years ago, there was a river in Colorado. Colorado is a state in USA. And several years ago, there was a river called Green River, which dried up. So when it dried up, they found out a lot of deposit, which is called nacolite. It is this nacolite that they get baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate or bicarbonate of soda. There are 2 ways of mining this compound under the riverbed. First of all, they can push heated water in the mine. It's like the way in Ghana they mine gold. They dig it and they go and extract the gold underground. So the one way of them extracting the nacolite is pushing hot water. The hot water will go and melt the nacolite and push it outside, and it will come out like a salt. Then when it comes out, they heat it up till it becomes soda ash. So when it becomes soda ash, they will combine it with carbon dioxide, then it becomes baking soda. Another way is, as I said, it's like a salt. You can mine it in a solid form, like the way we mine gold here. This one, they are not going to push any hot water to push or force this one out. They will mine it like salt and then take it to the factory, heat it up to become soda ash. When it becomes soda ash, then they will combine it again to form baking soda. So these are the 2 ways of what? Mining nacolite, which is found under the Green River, which dried up several years ago in Colorado in USA. Our next point is, why do we add baking soda to baking ingredients? 1, it makes the dough light. 2, it spreads the dough. That's why I drew this one here. So let's say this part of this drawing was the original dough. And once you add the baking soda, it is going to spread it. So some will go this part, some will go this part, some will go this part, some will go this part. And I have these arrows here to show you that why the dough spreads because of the baking soda. Yes, when you mix the dough, and later I'm going to talk about how baking soda reacts different from baking powder. As soon as you have any acidic ingredient in your mixture, it is going to react with the baking soda. And when it reacts, it will create carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide will try to escape from the dough. In trying to escape from the dough, it will force the dough to spread. You see, and you can see some are looking here, some are looking here, some are looking here, some are looking at this side. So like almost all direction, you have the arrows going. So the dough will be expanding. It will be spreading all over. And you see, I wrote soda is equal to spread. And when we reach the baking powder, you see that baking powder doesn't spread. So this is how it spreads. And how does it make it light? So as this carbon dioxide are escaping, it is leaving behind holes. So when this one go out, there will be a small hole. We know we are just talking about bread, because when you break, let's say, bread, you see that there are tiny holes. These are the holes that the carbon dioxide that escaped are leaving behind. And those holes makes the bread or whatever you use the baking powder in leaves behind. And that makes your product light. I hope you get my point. Dear friend, our next stage is how baking soda reacts. The baking soda, if you add it to flour and you add water, nothing will happen. Because the baking soda needs weak acid or anything that contains acid before it will react or before it will activate. These are the wet ingredients that can activate baking soda. Sour cream, buttermilk, honey, yogurt, lemon juice, maple syrup, vinegar, or one of these two dry ingredients, brown sugar or natural cocoa powder. The health benefit, I'm not asking anybody to go and buy baking soda to treat any disease. Please, if you are suffering from any disease, go to hospital, talk to your doctor for a remedy or a medication. Thank you very much. And please, if you like this video, give it a thumb up. Like it. If you like it, it helps other people also to find video like this. So baking soda is not something we just add to our baking ingredient to let it rise. When you eat baking product that contains baking soda, it's good for people who have kidney diseases. The diseases, I wrote it very small because I don't want anybody to have a kidney disease. And then it improves digestion. So the food digests fast when you eat it. It has more other health benefits, but these are the only two that I wanted to hammer on. So let's go to the next subtopic, baking powder. And we get baking powder by adding baking soda, this one. So baking powder contains baking soda, cream of tartar. The name is cream of tartar, but please, it is not cream. That's why I added the dry powder. Though the name is cream of tartar, but it is a dry powder. And then corn starch. So baking powder is made up of baking soda, cream of tartar, another name is called potassium bitartrate, that is weak acid. And then what? Corn starch. And the main difference between baking soda and baking powder is the cream of tartar. The difference is that in the baking soda, you need acid ingredient to make it react or activate. and they react with the baking soda to produce carbon dioxide. But you can see that baking powder contains acid, which is the cream of tartar. And the cream of tartar is a byproduct when they are using grape to make wine. And it is acidic. So, as this one requires some acidic ingredient for it to react or activate, baking powder already contains, this is the main difference, contain an acidic product, meaning as soon as you add water to baking powder, reaction will start. But this one needs an acidic ingredient to activate it. Somebody will ask, so why do we add the cornstarch? We know that as soon as water comes in contact with acid, reaction takes place immediately. So cornstarch, we all know cornstarch absorbs water quickly. So any moist, when you combine baking soda and acid, which is the cream of tartar, reaction can take place because this one is base, this one is acid. So cornstarch is added to these two ingredients so that when in the process of packaging, in the process of transporting, in the process of storage, if like small moist gets inside between these two, the cornstarch will absorb it to prolong the potency of the baking powder, meaning any small moist that will find its way in the baking powder without the cornstarch, it will activate it. But here, because of the cornstarch, any moist that will find its way in the baking powder will be absorbed by the cornstarch to prevent any premature activation of the baking powder before it is used. So I hope I get myself clear. Again, why do we add baking powder to baking ingredients? One, it gives height to the dough. It improves lightness, the same like the baking soda. We also said it improves lightness. It makes your baking products light because of the air it's introduced, because they all produce carbon dioxide. 3, it puffs the dough, puffs up. So you can say puff up. Just say so the difference between baking soda and baking powder, when you add them to baking products, is the baking soda spreads the dough or the mixture, whilst the baking powder pops it. So like it rises it up. Instead of this one spreading it left and right everywhere, this one just push it up. So you can see the arrow. It adds height to the dough, whilst this one spread. So remember, as I said, when I get to this one, you understand. Baking powder, we are using powder to represent baking powder. Powder, puff, whilst soda, spread. Dear friend, the next topic is replacing baking soda with baking powder. Yes, when you are baking and the recipe calls for baking soda, but you don't have the baking soda at home or at work, but you have baking powder in your cabinet, yes, you can substitute it. You need 3 of this one to get 1 of this one because of the cream of tartar and then the cornstarch added to baking soda to make baking powder. Simple. 1 soda is equal to 3 powder. 1 baking soda, 3 baking powder. Thank you very much. So I have baking soda here and I have baking powder. Each of these glasses are filled with water. We are going to use half teaspoon of baking soda here and half teaspoon of baking powder here. Dear friend, I will drop 1 teaspoon of the baking soda and see what happens. Nothing happened, no reaction, nothing. Let's come to the baking powder. Same quantity. Let's see what happens. So you can see it is foaming. Okay. And let me stir this one. We learned that baking powder contains acid, which is the cream of tartar,
which makes it react as soon as it comes into contact with water or moist. And the opposite is baking soda. So from this experiment, we can deduce that baking powder reacts as soon as it comes into contact with water, and baking soda does not react when it comes into contact with water.